When I ask my clients about if you were able to make your P3 salary or P4 salary or P5 UN, P5 salary outside of UN, would you stay in the UN? Right? And a lot of my clients say, oh my God, if I knew how to do that, I would leave tomorrow. This is usually the answer I get. I would leave tomorrow if I knew how to do that. And then the other question I ask is, well, why haven't you figured out how to do that until now? And I think for many people, they either have never thought about it or they just thought it's impossible to do, right? It's just one of those things that you never try because, I mean, obviously no one knows how to do it. And if they did, there will be a lot of people leaving. And if a lot of people are not leaving you, and that means that they just can't do that. And then, of course, we always say, well, it's hard, it takes a long time, I don't know how stable it is, and all of those objections, right? In the last 5 years that I've been coaching humanitarians, I have been trying to challenge every one of them as to what are we really capable of? And most importantly, since we don't know what we're capable of, what have we always been capable of replicating our P3 salary, P4 salary, P5 salary, maybe even D1, D2, High Commissioner level salary, or Secretary General level salary, whatever, right? What have we always been capable of making those salaries work by doing what we love? And we just have never explored it. And in the past, of course, people always had their own reasons why. Well, if I have a stable job, if I have all the things that I want in within UN, even though there are a lot of things that I don't agree with, there are a lot of things that I don't want to be part of, the system that I don't want to be part of, but still the cause is what I'm interested in, and I keep going. That was an option in the past, and more currently, a lot of humanitarians are realizing that that no longer is an option, or that no longer may be an option in a few months. And the other thing I think that a lot of humanitarians are realizing that even if they go and keep staying in the humanitarian sector because that's all they know, competition is so fierce that staying in the sector may not be an option even if they wanted to. Right? And then the question goes as to, okay, what am I going to do now? And of course, there's always an option to transition to the private sector. That's some of the clients that are exploring. And by the way, if you would like to join us in our group on that, please do let me know as well. But also there are humanitarians who are saying, well, I don't want to work for a profit sector, or I don't want to work for someone else anymore. Right? I don't want to work for toxic environments anymore. I'm done with it, right? There are a lot of humanitarians who are saying that I'm done with it. I'm not doing this. And then the other alternative is, okay, what am I going to do? Right? Because the stability that we've all known in the system, if that is no longer available, then where am I going to go? And a lot of humanitarians have another 20 years to work, or 15 years to work, even 5 years to work. And they just feel like, okay, if I can't really keep doing the things that I've always done, then what else I can do? And maybe it is a time to transition to something different, something that I've always wanted to do, but I've never had the guts to do that because I always explain to myself that I am too scared to do something else. And the fascinating part that I think I have explored for myself ever since I learned that I had the ability to replicate my UNP3 salary and more is I realized apparently it was always a possibility. Apparently I always had that ability to do that. But what I was lacking is the ability to solve for all the obstacles on the way to making it. And that's fine because it's not like I've always, I don't know, tried to replicate my UNP salary, right? It's the first time that I've done. And when I was transitioning, I had that one goal. I thought, okay, I want to work on something that I really love and doing that while being with my family and replicating my UNP3 salary. That's what I wanted, right? That was the expectation or the goal at the time. And then once I realized that I was able to do that within 2 years, then I'm like, okay, apparently it is possible. And not only it's possible even more, but we haven't even given ourselves a chance to do that because we always believed our fear brain or our survival brain more so than our abilities and our expertise. Now, of course, I'm not saying that it's easy. And I think a lot of times when I talk about how this is possible and that's possible, people always interpret this to me to interpret to mean that I'm saying that it's all like daisies and what is it, glory, right? In fact, I try to talk a lot about how hard it has been, and the reason why it has been hard is because I didn't know how to solve for fear. So the reason why we haven't, many of humanitarians haven't explored going for it, going for replicating their own P3 salaries or whatever the P salaries that they wanted to, or even if you don't work for UN, but let's say that you have that desire to have that financial stability in that sense by doing what you want to do. The reason why we haven't gone for it seriously, the reason why we haven't really committed to making that happen, think about it. What are the reasons? What are the reasons that we haven't committed to solving? Because we always thought that the system was a place that's uncomfortable but still comfortable, like, what is it? The pain that I know instead of going for the pain that I don't know, right? That's really what the system represented. Now that system is no longer an option for many people, then if we want to go and do something else and make the UNP3 level salary, then what are the problems we need to be solving? And from my experience of my own journey and coaching a lot of humanitarians, here are the problems that we need to be solving. And the great news is that they're all solvable. The not so great news is that it's very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable to a level that it's painful at times, hard at times. And it feels like, oh, I just don't want to be doing it at times. But since we cannot really rely on the system, it seems like for many people, then do we really have an alternative? Especially if we don't want to work for someone else, especially if we don't want to work for a public sector, or we have no choice of working for a public sector in our own governments, then what if this is a possibility? And if it is a possibility, then let's get serious as to what are the problems that we need to. So here are the problems that I have helped solve humanitarians in their own journey and in my own journey. And the main problem that we need to solve is the fear. Surprise, surprise. And fear is one of those interesting emotions, the survival emotion, right? Because it's so powerful that it makes us keep a victim to it. Right? It's so powerful that it makes us continue tolerating years of abuse, years of toxic environments, years of moving from one country to another and from one legislation to another, Because if we were able to solve that fear, we would have left and would be making our salary doing whatever we love, right? So the reason why we haven't done that and we were willing to tolerate whatever was the system offering, because we just believe that we can solve the fear. And then I'm proud to say that I have challenged that and I realize, oh, I can solve it. And not only, I can solve it well. And then, of course, my brain immediately goes to, oh my God, everyone needs to know about this. Everyone needs to know that this is possible to solve. And that's why I have been vocal the whole time, talking about how it is possible to make your UN P3 level salary or more doing what you love. But in order to do that, you need to solve for fear. And there are two ways that I have been able to solve it successfully. And I think there are lots more that we can discover, of course, if you choose to work with me on this. One way is experiencing fear or allowing fear and also knowing that you're not going to die. And the other one is keep acting while having the fear. Fear cannot go away just because we're waiting for it. Fear also can't go away just because we keep thinking about it, just because we keep getting information from lots of different people. Fear will not go away just because we are weighing our options or keep searching for examples of who else is doing it. Because even if we see hundreds of people doing it, and there are hundreds of people doing it, and probably a lot more, unless we're actually going to do this ourselves, that fear will continue remaining. And of course, it will be expressed in the form of worry, preoccupation, anxiety, panic attack, like all the ways. Right? But then the other thing about fear that's so interesting is that fear also makes us believe that if we just don't do anything or if we just avoid it, life will magically be okay. Except that it's not, right? Because I'm hearing also a lot of humanitarians saying that, oh my God, how did I spend 5 months, 7 months after leaving or losing my job not doing anything? And the reason why they didn't do anything is not because they didn't know that they were supposed to find a job and all of this, because fear was so prominent, so prevalent, that fear made us believe that if we just stay and hope for the best and get another job with UN or with another humanitarian organization, everything will be fine. And then to realize even if we kept trying, it's not working. And that's what fear does. Fear keeps us in denial. Fear keeps us making, like hoping for things and keep waiting for things. So that's why one way is to experience and allow the fear and look it in the face of the fear and saying, oh my God, I'm experiencing a lot of fear. And I also know that I don't die from it, because if we did die from it, we would have died when we were getting our driving license. Right? Because when we're getting our driving license, what happens? We experience extreme level of fear. At least that was my experience. And then we realize, oh, apparently we don't die. And then we keep going and getting the license anyway. And that's exactly what we need to do. We need to learn how to know how fear is impacting us. We need to know how to deal with it. And we need to know we can keep going and acting while having the fear. So that's one thing that we need to solve is the fear, right? Or all emotions that derive from fear. That's the survival emotion essentially that we need to solve. The second one is that we need to solve the identity piece, which is we don't see ourselves as someone who's capable of doing it. That's really what the identity is, right? We just believe that we are someone who can't do that. Like I always hear humanitarians say that I've only known how to do humanitarian work. I have no clue about anything else. Absolutely understandable, but it never means that we cannot find out. It never means that we cannot figure out a new way to do things or other ways to do things. And the way things are looking currently, competition is fierce everywhere. Whether we go to the private sector, whether we stay in the humanitarian sector, or whether we do our own thing, competition is everywhere. Networking skill is needed everywhere. Sales skills is needed everywhere. Interview skills needed everywhere. So no matter which direction we go, we need to have the identity of I can figure this out, or I know how to do this even if I haven't done ever before, because there is no alternative really. Like whichever direction we go, essentially, we are required to be the person who can figure things out and get ourselves out of the situation of feeling stuck, feeling lost, feeling all the things, and start solving the problems that we want to solve. So therefore, if we don't have the identity of I'm someone who can do this, we will not be able to do that, because our identity currently says it can only be possible within UN. There is no one else paying this amount of money unless you are working for some evils like corporations or like banks and whatever judgments you have. That's how it's the identity going currently. But we need to fix that identity to say, okay, what if you are able to do this outside of UN? And what if many people can do that? What if everyone can do that? So why not you? And most importantly, what if you're capable of even more? So that's the second thing that we need to solve. And the third thing that we need to solve up, obviously, which is the actually doing things, right? The implementation of things. Whatever we've decided, whatever we have committed to, we need to put into action. We can't really find things out unless we're doing things. This is the thing, is that fear is great at telling us that I don't know if it'll work, I don't know how it will work, all of those things. Identity will continue keeping us in the I'm only the UN person or humanitarian person, I have no clue about this and that, and therefore we're not going to find out who we are really if we're not working for that sector unless we are acting on it, right? Unless we're putting the actions to find out how it works, whether it works, what's not working, what's working, and what to do about it. And all of these three things need to be solved if we're serious about replicating our UN peace salary, doing what we want to do for the next however many years until we go to pension and retirement age. So majors. That's why I have put together this group coaching for people who are still working in the sector, or people who are afraid of losing their job and they don't want to go to the private sector and they want to do something on their own, or for people who have lost and they just feel like they don't want to be tolerating and doing things the way they've always done. They want to finally do things on their own, on the projects they want to do, but they also want to make it successful. So that's why I have decided to announce this group this week so that we can start figuring things out before Christmas, before we go on break, since we don't have much time for many of us, right? That's why I'm in a hurry to get all of this out so that I can support as many people as possible to get to the Christmas at least having a bit of a peace of mind, knowing which direction they're going and how they're going about it. And the group coaching announcement or enrollment will be until the end of this week. So that's why I would like to start as of next week. If you would like to be part of it, then you need to join. It will be, again, like the other group that I have announced. It will be for $2,000 for 1 year, starting next week, for up to 10 people in the group. Maybe even less. Let's see. But my goal is to support you to get yourself out of your own way, solving the things that need to be solved, whatever those things are, to get you to making your salary. And the more you see that you are able and capable of doing it, the more you have created for yourself options instead of keep putting all of your eggs into one basket, so to say. And we will be also exploring passive income options as well. I have invited some amazing people to support me in that area as well as of next year. And I think in January we will start. We'll explore passive income options, sorry. For some of you, passive income might be the way to go currently because you are still working. For some of you, it might be now the time to get serious about committing to making things work the way you want to. And in which case, we'll be working on whatever is needed, right? The marketing, the sales part, the delivery part, all of this. So, my dears, I really, really want to create more tailor-made approaches to humanitarians suffering that currently a lot of people are going through. And if I can put together groups of people who are specifically only working on that one outcome, then I believe the effectiveness of it will be higher. So that's why, if that is you, then now is the time to join. It is on first come, first serve basis, and I will be enrolling up to 10 people. So if this is you, there is a link below to sign up or ask questions. That's for you. Okay, my dears. Thank you so much for being with me and hearing how it is possible. And I would like more people to do this so that we can show to ourselves, most importantly, that we are that capable. And that's really my goal. My goal is to help humanitarians not be dependent on the system anymore and emancipate from the system, whether they choose to stay or not. And my dears, have a beautiful week. Bye.